In my heart, I'm gonna sing till
it says, the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. Okay, so I'm going to skip down to verse 4 and find out what he says. It says, then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, this is Jeremiah. He says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. He was sanctified and ordained in the womb to be a prophet. So who are you to kill what's in the womb? All souls belong to God. Again, you don't know who you're killing. You think about the many men and women who have impacted mankind. They came out of a womb. Jesus came out of a womb. Who are you to kill what's in the womb? Let's go to Psalms, the 139th chapter. Because this is a consequence for sin. Because many women find themselves in a position in which they cannot take it. They don't feel they're in a proper position to take care of the baby. So therefore, abortion is available. Abortion is legal. See, all laws are not good laws. That's not a good law. Okay? Laws that go against the law of God are not good laws. You cannot murder your child and think that everything's going to be okay. Thou shalt not murder. And that's what it is. I don't care what lie they tell to you. I don't care how they try to spin it. It's murder. It's murder. And you kill your child. That's what you do. But they try to put a nice spin on it. This is Psalms 139th division. This is verse 13. It says, for thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. Okay? So this is a Psalm of David, and you see God dealing with man even in the womb. Even in the womb. He says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret. What is he talking about when he was made in the womb? He says, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. That's talking about the womb. Okay, the Lord did that. The Lord created you. The Lord created man. He made man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and he became a living soul. And then he put what was in that first man needed to procreate. And here you are today. Here I am today. Okay? All that's part of the creation of God. And when you get to the culmination of that creation, what you're going to be? You're going to be God. Man was created to be God. He says you are God's children of the Most High God. So who are you to destroy the creation of God? That's what he's creating. That's what this whole walk is about. You walk this path, and if you walk the path of righteousness, he will give you eternal life. But you have to live forever to get into the kingdom of God. See, that's what he's telling you. To get in that kingdom of God, what do you think this is all about? People talk about having angels to go off and be like an angel to go off to heaven and have some wings. No, brothers and sisters, what he's doing is, this is the creation of God. He's making gods. And you are destroying that when you commit abortion, when you have an abortion. Okay? Let's go to Malachi and find out what was the purpose of marriage. This is Malachi. This is the 2nd chapter. Because as I said, it's all about the creation of God. This is Malachi, the 2nd chapter and 11th verse. It reads, because he's talking about Judah here. He says, Judah hath dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem. For Judah hath profaned the holiness of the Lord, which he loved, and hath married the daughter of a strange god. So basically, as a nation, we sinned against God and start following after gods that were no gods, committing spiritual adultery. Okay? Let's skip down to verse 13. It says, and this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering anymore, or receiveth it with good will at your hand. See, you can't call yourself making an offering and worshiping God, but you don't do anything he says. He does not accept that. He does not accept that. Just like you can't go to church praising the Lord. You go to church and that you commit fornication every day or every other day. It's a common thing with you. You can't just praise the Lord and deal in homosexuality. You can't talk about you praising the Lord and going to church and serving Him, and you are living with someone and y'all not married, but y'all having sex. You having children. What are you doing? You think the Lord is accepting your praise and your what you call the offering of praise? He's not. Verse 14. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because he said, wants to know why won't you accept this? He says, because the Lord hath been witness against thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant. He says, so in this case, you had a wife, but you didn't treat her right. You treated her like dirt. Okay? I saw that. The Lord is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. He knows all, sees all, and is all powerful. He sees how you even treat your wife. He says, I see that. And he says here the reason why he brought that union of man and woman together. He says, and did not he make one? Read that in Genesis 2. He says, yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed. Okay? Because you could be a type of son of God right now. If you're on that path to righteousness and doing what thus saith the Lord, you are one of His. And eventually, you're going to be the son of God as Jesus was the son of God. He was the first fruit, showing us how it was all going to take place through the resurrection. A man first begotten from the dead. First indicative of more to come. So, this was all done to seek a godly seed. Okay, take heed therefore, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. So that's the purpose of marriage. That's the purpose of marriage. But see, you have all those consequences that I read about with diseases and abortions, etc. when you go outside of this order. Okay? So let's go to Hosea. Okay? Because people that are married, the few that are, even adultery is not frowned upon as much. Okay? Let's read this. This is Hosea. And this is the Lord's charge against Israel. He says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. Okay? And again, I stress this because you have to have men of God standing up, teaching the people what thus saith the Lord, or you will have sin running rampant. Like this. There was no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land. Because there was a failure within the men. Within the men. To teach the people. The men of God who was supposed to do that. To teach the people what thus said the Lord. It says, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Okay? So you have all these bad things take place. It says, because the people are swearing and lying. Well, first of all, he says, because there's no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land. Therefore, people swear, they lie, they kill, they steal, and they commit adultery. All that's in the same bag. See, you'll go to jail for stealing and killing. But the Lord looks at adultery in the same manner. Okay? He says, therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beast of the field. Okay, so it says that basically there was going to be some drama that was brought upon these people because of sin. You look at our communities and you look at the way in which we live, not just here, but in Brazil, as we're scattered in Africa, you look at these different ways in which we live, we got that way because of sin. Our situation is the way it is, not because we need to vote more, not because we need to be more politically involved, not because we need to take up arms, not because we need economic empowerment, not because we need to go to these colleges and universities that were established by other people. That's not why. We are in the condition we are in because of sin, because of our refusal to turn back to the living God. And until we do, you can expect the same. That's what you can expect. He is bringing that upon you so that you will turn to Him. But let's go to Let's go to Proverbs. Because he put adultery in the same bag. And you can't think that you can just commit adultery and think that everything's going to be okay. Let's go to 23. Proverbs 6 and 23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life." Okay? So the commandments, laws, statutes of God, they teach you how to live. And they make your life easier because you have less problems. Because sin, believe it or not, complicates your life. You think things are fun. Fornication, oh yeah, that's cool. But even just the emotional feelings that people have that are interchanged when people have sex. Okay? That's a very emotional act for many women and men, but more so for women. Okay? You even look at that. You look at the pregnancy. You look at all these different things that happened to you because you went out of God's order. Now, you may not have known God's order, but I'm telling you, you need to find out about God's order. Find out about His laws, statutes, and commandments, and do them. Okay? Think about if you could go back and do things differently, how you would have done them. Okay? Think about that. And that's how you should raise up your children. In the way in which you want it. Because many people are in a position now where the mess has already been made. But what you can do is start walking on the righteous path now. And teaching your children to do the same thing. According to the Word of God. Because you have to have a standard of morality. And it is God's Word. So it says, the commandment is a lamp and the law is light. It says to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Okay? And then it goes on to say, it says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Okay? Or in the mind. Don't lust after a woman. Neither let her take thee with her eyelids, for by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread. And the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. He says something, and he says, can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Okay? So can you hug fire and not be burned? Obviously not. So it says, so he that goeth in to his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. Okay? So you can't go into your neighbor's wife, and your neighbor is anybody. Any other person. You can't go into that wife and think that everything's going to be okay. It's not. It's not going to be okay. It says, so he that goeth in to his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. Because you lack understanding when you do that. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So if a man be found, he's stealing because he's hungry, hey, he needs to restore that sevenfold. He says, but whoso commit, and they'll allow that because the man was hungry. Okay, he was doing that. That wasn't right, but the man, under those conditions, he did what he had to do. But it says, or what he felt he had to do, he says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. See, you destroy your own soul when you commit adultery. A wound in the sun shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Okay? It says, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. That's a good way to get killed, in other words. A man walk in on his wife with another man. He snaps and loses it and kills you, and you die for a few moments of pleasure. It's not worth it. Because then what's going to happen? You're going to go to hell. He says he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content though thou givest many gifts. There's no way you can repay this man. Okay, so let's go to Job and find out how do you avoid adultery. Because he talked about lust. Solomon talked about lust. Okay? And it all starts within the mind. It all starts within the mind. That's how you avoid fornication, and this is here how Job is going to tell us how we avoid adultery. It says in Job, the 31st chapter, 1, it says,